What's up, YouTube? So I've been wanting to make a video, but I've been very busy with school and just life in general. Let me apologize in advance for the fan noise. It's the only way I can get privacy in my room. Um, so one of the last videos that I kind of talked about was some of the issues that I've been having with my living situation, and I mean, these issues haven't really changed, um, and they've been stressing me out a great deal, and they've been adding to the stress of just my overall health situation with my Tourette's and social anxiety and all the things that are bothering me right now. But this video, I want to talk about how I have trouble with self-care and how it affects my energy and how I live my day-to-day life. I didn't sleep well last night. Like I said, I've been under a lot of pressure. I only got about 3 hours of sleep, and it definitely shows because I'm sure that I look tired. Um, but I've been having trouble sleeping for a long time now. I've always been a night owl. I've really never been a morning person, but I've been staying up progressively later and later since I moved here. I've been living in my current situation, just to remind everyone that, or just to tell people who haven't watched my videos, I'm renting a room in a private house. So, um, to be honest, I've really never felt comfortable here. I mean, it beats my former living situation. I had to find a place to live very quickly, and I was living. I mean, thank God I was never homeless, but I mean, I was living out of a hotel. I was living like I had to pay night for night to rent a room off Craigslist. At one point, in 2016, I was a victim of domestic abuse. I was assaulted by a family member um, who was a narcissist and possibly borderline personality. And I had to find a place to live very quickly. And thankfully, for a family friend, I lived with them for a month, and they helped me find the place that I'm living now. But um, so, like I said, I mean, I've been having trouble with self care from living in my family's house to an unfamiliar environment. It's taken a toll on my mental health. And like I said, this video is about how I live my day to day life. I stay up till like 4 or 5 a.m. And honestly, I don't wake up till like late afternoon sometimes. So that only leaves me with, about 9 hours in the day left. So I never get enough done. So it's like this cycle that I perpetuate where I stay up way too late and I wake up too late and I rush to get everything done in the 9 hours or so left that I have in the day, which isn't a healthy way to live. And I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but this is how I'm living while I recover from my mental health and while I recover my mental health. And I mean, I leave the house much more now than I did when I first moved here, but it's not enough. Um, but yeah, what I've realized, and I mean, everything I'm about to say applies to me, but I've seen it with other people too. People with mental health problems, they have a tendency to think that all their symptoms are coming from their brain, where it's really a result of just a lack of self care. Like, for me, since I sleep through breakfast and some of lunch, I'm already starting my day not eating. I mean, I don't eat till evening, so I'm skipping meals. I'm staying up too late. I'm not drinking enough water. I'm oversleeping. I'm not getting enough exercise. So I mean, these are all things that make me feel like shit, and I attribute them to symptoms of depression, and really, I mean, that's not the only cause. It's how I live my life, and but of course, mental illness affects how you live your life. So it's interesting. I mean, I've obviously my symptoms are not just coming from mental illness. They're also coming from the fact that I don't eat, and I don't live a healthy life. So these are all things that impact your mental health. So I just wanted to talk about that. Not to mention that I also drink a lot of coffee, and that makes my tics worse. I avoid, like, I don't keep in touch with my friends or my family. My friends, I just kind of fell out of contact while I was going through bouts of severe depression. I lost touch with a lot of them, and I feel like that's the case with a lot of people, where you kind of just fall out of touch with people, whether it's a result of mental illness or just life. You know, life is hard enough, but when you throw mental illness into the picture, life could feel impossible. But and in terms of not speaking to my family, I have a very good reason for not speaking to my family, because I do not want the family members that I'm on good terms with to share infor, information about where I am in my life with my toxic family members. And I mean, the really, like, my family's mostly good. I mean, the toxic people, it's about what one two it's about three people, you know. But you know, there's a saying that one bad apple ruins the bunch, and there's some truth in that saying, where um, obviously people don't want to choose sides. You shouldn't have to choose sides in a family. I mean, family should be together. Family should uplift each other. Family should not mock you for having a mental illness. Family should not diagnose. Family should not use your diagnosis against you. Family should not talk negatively about your significant other. These are all things that my family members. Um, these are all things that I experienced due to certain members of my family, that I no longer speak to. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's just so hard whenever people ask. It, you you can't even tell people that you don't talk to your family or you don't talk to your mother, because people assume that mothers can't do any harm, and that fathers do all the harm, and that mothers are perfect. I mean, I'm kind of generalizing it, but I mean, if you look at what society tells you about mothers, mothers are held to a much different standard than fathers are. It's acceptable to talk negatively about your father, but God forbid, if you have a if you have a toxic mother, you can't talk about it. You know, you're automatically, especially if you're a man, you're automatically seen as a bad person. And you know, I I did not always hate my narcissistic borderline mother. I only began to hate her after she really showed her true colors, which was when my dad passed away in 2010 onwards. But I didn't live back home until 2015, so I'm really talking from 2015 till now. I She has shown herself to be evil, manipulative, abusive, and I just can't get over the fact that I feel like I encountered a demon. Like, I'm not a religious person, but it's like I can't get over the fact that she hid that evilness from me my entire life. Um, and it's just incredibly hard to deal with. So please leave a comment if you've had to deal with a narcissistic, borderline parent, especially if you're a man, because men don't talk about these things. Men don't talk about the domestic violence that I know they experience. I know we live in a world where it's okay for women to hit men more so than it is okay for a man to hit a woman. And there are obvious reasons for this. Obviously, a man can do a lot more damage if he hits a woman than if a woman hits a man. I mean, I realize that, but you can't have your cake and eat it too, where everyone deserves a safe place to live. Everyone deserves, no one should be touched or hit, without their consent. I don't know why you would consent to that, but you get my point, hopefully. So I just wanted to really just talk about where I'm at emotionally. I am still having a very hard time. I don't know if I'm going to have to move. I'm just hoping to kind of get my career and my job and my school in order before I have to move, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Today when I walked into the house, if you saw my most recent video, you know that the layout of the house is such that I have to walk past my landlord whenever I leave or enter the house. And I mean, I didn't see her when I was leaving, thank God, because I don't need that first encounter of the day. But when I'm coming home, the first second that I enter the house, she says hello, and I just knew that she was gonna complain, and she's complaining about things that my roommate did. I mean, just watch my previous video. She's complaining about the same crap, and I'm just tired of being scapegoated for things I haven't done. And the reason why I'm having such a hard time emotionally now, and why I went off on such a tangent about my past life in 2016, is because I'm reliving it now. Where, if you know about psychology and transference, I'm having transference about my mother towards my landlord, because she's acting in a very scapegoating, condescending, blame shifting way towards me. So that's my issue now, and I just hope that everything's going to be okay, and I just hope that 2019, that I'll be able to overcome my mental health issues and be successful like I know that I can be.